Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Eric with SweetSpotDFS, and this is my review for the 2022 Shriners Children's Open. Not only am I going to review the tournament, but I'm going to review the sweet spot process to see how well it did. If you want to see what I'll cover in depth, I do have timestamps in the description below. You can also find them on YouTube's progress bar. All you got to do is hover over the progress bar. You'll see them there. But I want to start this video off first with giveaways. If you recall, I was running a subscriber giveaway. In order for this to run, we had to hit the goal of 250 subscribers. If you look down below, I'm at 244. We were 6 subscribers short. I kind of waited a little bit here on Sunday to get this out to see if we can climb up, but we are stuck at 244. That's fine. All of the entries that were, I should say all you guys that participated to put entries into this all goes towards the next giveaway next week. And I'll show you guys who you guys are on the screen right now. So everything right here, Shriners on down, that's being added. All of these names will be going towards the giveaway next week. So if you want to participate and get some entries into the giveaway once we hit 250, I think it's inevitable. I think we're gonna do it next week. We'll run that giveaway for a free $10 for you guys. So this will go towards next week. Now, I had a second giveaway, and that was my prize picks giveaway. All you had to do is sign up and deposit at least $20. You had to sign up using the promo code SweetSpot, deposit at least $20 into your account. We had one person sign up, and that one person's going to win the $20. So let me go ahead and put him on the screen. Go to the prize picks giveaway, Mr. Matthew Martin. So if I run the contest, since you're the only person, you are the winner. Reach out to me, SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. Tell me how you would like, or what payment method you would like. I do Venmo, I do PayPal. Let me know. I'll send it. I also do Google Pay. Let me know. And the $20 is yours. And then your name will be removed from this list once it is sent. Use the email address that you signed up with Prize Picks. That way I can validate, you know, they're the same and I'm not sending it to some random person. So Mr. Matthew Martin, thank you for signing up. You get free $20 and that's it. That's easy, folks. All you got to do is sign up. Matthew Martin's the first person to do it. Outside of my friends and family, that is. So easy $20. Okay, let's get into this recap. So the first thing, Sung J M is your winner. I should actually preface all of this with, I didn't watch much of Saturday and Sunday. If you remember, I was on a week-long vacation, almost a week and a half long vacation. Prior to that vacation, I did all my homework so I could be ready for this week, but also I always do this regardless if I create videos for it or not. I always want the information. So the Sanderson Farms Championship, I played contests in it and I did spreadsheets for it. I never, posted anything. I didn't do any videos. I didn't have the time to do that, but I was behind once I came back because I didn't do anything going forward. So this Saturday, Sunday, what I ended up doing was basically getting myself ready for the rest of the fall swing event. So I'm pretty far ahead now where I can focus more on other things. Obviously, I have a goal of creating a database. Now I have some time to do that. And that's basically, what I use my Saturday, Sunday for. Anyways, didn't watch much of it Saturday, Sunday. Sung J M ran away with this with the 62 on Sunday's round. So you can see round 4 scoring. You can see all the round scoring here, but that 62 really cemented it. He ended up shooting 24 under. If I go to the results here, we can see all the scores here. Sung J M 24 under, Matt Wolf 20 under. Nice to see him doing well again. He finished second here last year, if you see that, 23 under. And I think he has 12 rounds in the 60s. So he absolutely loves this golf course, does really well at it. Nice to see. And obviously, if you've been watching the previews and stuff like that of mine, I'm very wary of anyone that's battling, any kind of depression or mental illness issues. Like when it comes to golf, it's 99% mental. There's no way I can confidently play a golfer who has any of those issues going on with them. But it's nice to see Matthew Wolf finishing second place, and hopefully this is a good spark going forward. You know, hopefully he's able to manage those I don't even know what to call them, but you know, any of his head, and I don't want to call them issues, but I can't think of a better word. Either way, nice to see Matthew Wolff up there. Mark Leishman. So I was leading a contest. I like to do a lot of winner take alls. I was leading one of those winner take alls, and the other guy had Mark Leishman as well as Adam Hadwin, which Hadwin did really well. He started off over par on Sunday's round, and then came back and shot like 3 under or something like that on Sunday. But Mark Leishman shot like a 62 as well. If I bring that up, it was a 63. Sorry, 63. So he catapulted up the leaderboard, and I ended up losing that contest. But either way, it was a break-even week for me, so I'm not going to complain. Like it was almost exactly. I lost $1, so it was put in 30, won 29. So it was nice. There was a couple opportunities I could have won. The mini max and the mini max, like both of them I was doing really well in. Had a lot of good lineups. I create, you know, somewhere between 70 to 100 lineups a week. So, and they're all unique. I never really duplicate any of my lineups. I'm starting to think about it because I would rather, you know, if I'm going to win, I'd want to win big. But I'm also the type that plays my ownership. So I know Mr. Gabriel Brown, you were talking to me throughout the weekend, and you like to do single entry lineups. There's a lot of risk assessment. You got to go with that. And for me, I love building a bunch of lineups. That way my risk is based off of my ownership, you know, stretched out. It's not just the one in, you know, the one lineup and done. I want to call it mentality, but you know, that strategy. Either way, it was a good week. I only bring up Leishman and Hadwin because of the contest that I lost, but looking at the rest of the top 10, it's a lot of 6K, you know, golfers. A lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people. Harry Hall was a good pickup if you read anything into his, I think he's from Nevada. I don't have his information yet. He might be from that area, but I think he shot like a 60 on like a Monday or a Tuesday out at this golf course. He did something on his Twitter with a signed scorecard saying had a good day or whatever, like at TPC Summerlin. And there he is in the top 10. I did play, I think, a lineup of him, but it wasn't a lineup that did anything, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's interesting to see this. And really any of the Korn Ferry graduates from last year, so last year, everything that we did, you know, like sweet spot wise, had a lot to do with returning professionals from the year before. If you recall, the 2021 season had no graduates in it from 2020 because of the COVID issue. And now we have, you know, basically somewhere between 20 to 50 new golfers on each of these, well, I shouldn't say on each of these events, but pretty much. You have just an influx of rookies and even young guys. So Harry Hall being one of them, he did play a few events last year on the PGA Tour, but he's going to be one of many going forward. And the wonderful thing with the bucket system is it has accounted for all of those years that there have been Korn Ferry graduates. So we know we need to be looking for these. And again, we'll review the bucket system a little bit later. Either way, Harry Hall, Stoneman 6,000. If you did play him, good on you. If not, no big deal. But it's obviously really interesting to see some of these golfers. You know what? I'm going to do something really quick. It comes from this sheet, which is what we're going to be talking about soon. Can I make that? Nope. Okay, never mind. Can't do it. I'm not going to recap all of this. It's nice to see an Aaron Wise up there. I think he's, honestly, I don't really think he's a sneaky player anymore. $7,900 is a pretty good price tag. But the guy, since last year, has been just hitting the ball off the charts. He just couldn't putt. And now he's kind of doing the Adam Scott, broomstick putter. It's actually leveled him off pretty well. Like he's actually putting okay. And his results are showing through. Rory Sabatini, my model kind of picked up on him. Like so my optimizer wanted me to play a lot of Rory Sabatini, and I just didn't want to. Like I'm just gonna stay away from it. But obviously finished third. Should have listened, but I didn't. But But that's all I'm going to do with the recap. I don't really have anything to offer. I don't know a lot of the things that happened. Adam Schenk was your 54-hole leader. And, you know, kind of, I don't want to say buckled, but he kind of did buckle under the pressure. Shooting a 70 when everyone around you is shooting in the 60s. That's not very good. Yeah, that's all I have for the recap. Sorry it wasn't any more in depth, but that's all I have for you. I want to review the $5 GPP versus the optimal lineup. I did try to copy that over. The GPP winning lineup are all the golfers highlighted in blue. He had 4 of the top 10 golfers. Obviously, you know SweetSpot. We always try to find all of our. We try to build a lineup that has all 6 golfers in the optimal lineup. This guy only had 4. If we scroll down, you're going to see some prominent names that he ended up picking. Joaquin Niemann at 8,300 and Victor Hovland at 10,600. In that $5 GPP winning lineup, he scored 684 points. He used up all $50,000. So again, whenever you hear anyone in the industry say leave money on the table, you don't have to win a GPP. I mean, there's going to be a video from me sometime in the future that's going to go over this because I keep track of almost every single year. What the GPP winning lineup, how much salary they leave on the table, how much they use. I'll go over that. It's about 50% of winning lineups has $50,000 in it. It could be a little bit more than that, but it's right around that halfway mark. So if you want to win a GPP, you don't have to leave money on the table. It's a stupid myth. I shouldn't say stupid myth. It's just very simple logic people want you to use to try to leverage your lineups against others. Doesn't matter. You can use all 50,000. But either way, I'll create a video somewhere out there, and I think like 70% use 48 or 49.8 and above, or 49.7 and above. So like the 30% of lineups leave more than that on the table, but more often than not, no one's really leaving any money on the table. So anyways, $50,000 it uses. The optimal lineup used 45,100. I used to chase this. I used to leave a lot of money on the table. I no longer do. I would rather have a realistic optimal lineup, and I forgot to do that. And for me, what that means is getting a lineup 49,000 and above that still will beat the GPP winning lineup, like getting the highest scoring, whatever the highest scoring lineup 49,000 above is. That's my realistic optimal lineup. So I guess what I'll do, I'll just do it quickly. It's not going to take that much time. If I can type here, my keyboard's doing some weird stuff. So we'll just make it look pretty. And so what we'll do is we want to get to 49, at least 49. Can we do that? 7,900? Probably not. And I also want to find all 10 of my golfers inside the top 10. Can we do this? 46.6. That's crazy. It was Sam Burns, and that's like Sam Burns, super unfortunate. He was doing so well, and then just had a really bad Sunday. So Sam Burns is we want that 10K golfer. Probably gonna have to take out Mr. Aaron Wise. Put in Hadwin. Yeah, that's 49,500. So this will be your realistic optimal. I'm pretty sure that's the best we're gonna do. 118.5. Rory doesn't beat that. And I'm using Sam Burns because he's 10,000. It's easier that way. Yeah, so nothing beats this. So that is your realistic optimal lineup, and again, it used 49,500. So it's just another way to show you, you can still win a GPP by not putting not leaving a lot of money on the table. So that scored 740 points. So optimal was 756. The realistic optimal, 740. And then that also beats the GPP winning lineup by about 60 points. Pretty close. So yeah, we could have gone there. We'll see what it looks like with looking at the DK page, but that is your optimal lineup versus the $5 GPP winning lineup. I got nothing more than that. So going into the dream sheet, the first thing that I want to start with, because this is also going to drive a lot of the other pieces we're going to talk about, is the sweet spot rank. So it's my own ranking that I put on these players. I want to see how well it did, and obviously when I see it, it doesn't look very good. So my 5th ranked golfer, Mr. Sung JM, he wins the tournament. I only have 2 other top 20s. That's never a good thing. So yeah, there's definitely some revisions I need to make, but don't get me wrong, a lot of these golfers, they should have done better than what they did. And that actually reminds me, so if we look at some of this, the weather played a huge factor. And if you followed me on Prize Picks, I hate to say this, but windfinder.com was extremely disappointing. I don't know if it wasn't working or if the weather station was picking up wind from somewhere else, but I was watching it Thursday, Friday, and Friday morning, it was supposed to be 16 miles an hour, 16 to 18 miles an hour of wind, or 14 to 16. That's what it ended up being. As you watched the golfers golf on Thursday through PGA Tour Live, you didn't see any wind. I mean, you saw very still flag sticks, but if you go to windfinder.com, it was showing 14 miles an hour. And then when you go to the, 3 hours ahead, it was showing 16 miles an hour. It's like, okay, so it's still going to be windy this morning. There was no wind. No wind Friday morning. There was like a little bit of wind Friday or Thursday afternoon. So your PM AM golfers really didn't have to deal with any wind whatsoever. Your AM PM golfers, now like all day Friday, it was supposed to be windy, but Friday afternoon was supposed to be the windiest, like 8 miles an hour windier than it was supposed to be in the morning. So like you kind of had this, who should you go for? Thursday morning was like still, super still, 2 miles an hour is what it was forecasting. So yeah, you could think of that. Maybe those guys go really low and you could take advantage of like Prize Picks or anything like that, choosing golfers Thursday morning to shoot their unders for their projections, that kind of stuff. And then you have to, if you're playing DraftKings, you have to think about that. Like Friday's supposed to be the windiest. Like, does that really hurt their scores? And does the PM AM wave have that big of advantage to having consistent winds? Because they were supposed to be forecasted like 12 miles an hour, 14 miles an hour on Thursday, and then like 14 to 16 miles an hour on Friday. So that PM AM wave I thought was going to have very consistent wind. Didn't. They had low wind on Thursday afternoon and they had no wind Friday morning. So they were the optimal setup for scoring. And it actually proved out. And if you don't follow Rob Bolton on Twitter, if you don't have a Twitter, that's fine. I'm not going to pull his Twitter up right now, but he likes to keep track of, round 1 versus round 2, scoring averages, as well as the AM PM differences. And Thursday's round, your average score, I think it was a stroke difference. So it was a stroke better in the morning than it was in the afternoon. And then when you went to Friday, it was 2 strokes better in the morning than it was in the afternoon. And it ends up being like 1 stroke difference between AM, PM, like the Thursday. Well, just put it this way. It was a stroke difference between the AM, PM wave versus the PM, AM wave. If hopefully you're not confused by that. Meaning like there was a clear advantage of picking golfers in the PM, AM wave. It was a 1 stroke difference. And that's what I think a lot of our golfers that we were on, like Will Zalatoris, Hideki survived. Good for him. Hanser just looked awful. Honestly, he wasn't in that AM PM. But like some of these other golfers, Harris English, Kokrak, Harmon, they didn't really get the advantages. Now, don't get me wrong. All of these guys kind of played poorly, minus Sung JM. There are things I want to add to my score that might change the rank because it unfortunately doesn't rank any of the new graduates from the Korn Ferry Tour very well because there isn't any stat points or data points that I can use. And I don't want to like I know like datagolf.com or just datagolf, they have some kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, but when it comes to strokes gained, they do look at all the tours and then they kind of judge them accordingly, or you know, they I can't even think of the word that I'm looking for. Like they either add something or they take away something based off of your tour, if that makes sense. So like if you shoot 20 under on the Corn Ferry Tour, that's like the equivalent of shooting 11 under on the PGA Tour. And so they make adjustments. Holy crap. They make their own adjustments, which is nice. And I kind of want to add that to mine. I just haven't gotten around to it. And I think I'm going to have to for that SweetSpot score. It worked well last year because we didn't have those Corn Ferry graduates. And a lot of these guys are really good. But either way, it's not all Corn Ferry graduates I need to accommodate. It's everything else in general. But either way, SweetSpot rank did not go as well as I would hope. And then that plays into my marquee tee time. So if you are, if you follow me, you know what this is. It's using that SweetSpot score to try to find the best pairings in the field this week. So I'm highlighting them all by 3s because those are your pairings. I want to find at least 2 that hit the optimal lineup. And it has happened every single year, every single tournament, I should say, not year. Every single tournament dating back to like last year's Zozo that I've had at least 2 in the optimal lineup. Oh man, I can't even see if I have 0. I mean, if you look, most of these are missed cuts. Oosthuizen's 14 under, Burns 14 under, Martin Laird 11. 11th place. 14th place, 14th place, 11th. So sure, Burns was in the realistic optimal lineup. That's just one golfer that fit that mold. This is the first time I've struck out. First time ever doing marquee tee time pairings. And again, it's driven by the SweetSpot rank. So I obviously need to make some adjustments to that rank. I don't think it's going to work out with the Corn Ferry graduates that are coming into play. I mean, again, I'm going to go ahead and remove this because there's no point in talking about it anymore. But if I, sort this again, Hayden Buckley is a Corn Ferry graduate. Harry Hall is a Corn Ferry graduate. The rest of these guys, not so much. But I mean, the score in itself is pretty good. They're all under 100. That's the consolation prize that I have for myself. I want to see all these guys under 100. And really, I want to see them all under 96. That was the 2/3 rule that creates the marquee tee time pairings. I want to see all of these ranks under 96. I have them all minus Harry Hall. So in that sense, it was good. But obviously, when we look at their tee time pairings, I'm actually going to, let's mark guys. My top 10s. I'm going to mark them. It's nasty green color. It's not nasty, but it's going to be an eyesore. If we look at how some of these guys played, like this group was not bad. 14-27, very good with the rankings. And Cameron Tringali was playing well too. He had a really bad Sunday. I forget what he ended up doing, but he's capable of going low. They were paired up with Tyler McCumber, who isn't, high on my list. 85th, obviously he missed the cut, Tyler McCumber. And then Shank is with Gim and McCarthy. Now, I won't lie, Gim probably should be ranked a little higher. He's not very good on bent grass, and that's probably what held him back. But he's a very skilled golfer. Now, Adam Shank, I'd still want him at 55. There's no way he's going to get lower. So no matter what, these guys aren't going to be under the threshold of that 96. Again, all 3 of their scores have to be under 96 to hit that 2/3 rule to make them a marquee tee time pairing. But if we scroll down through some of these other golfers that had, the rankings. So Kisner and Fratelli, like I probably, no, never mind. Like this ranking was 126. Kisner, a good golfer. Fratelli, a good golfer. Like I have no issues with them. They obviously missed the cut. Sung Jae-im just, basically ignored them, played his own game, played well, and then went on to win the tournament while the other 2 guys just kind of were duds. And then we had Leishman with McGirt and Chappell. Like, that's a really bad group. And Leishman was able to survive that one. I mean, I guess Will McGirt helped him out on Thursday, but not so much on Friday. Lanto, he was paired with Garrick Higo, which is a very talented golfer. JT Poston, who's won on tour before. Not really good in my rankings. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go through all of these guys. We can see who some of these guys are playing with. Like, they would never have been in my Marquee Tee Time pairings. And I'm not saying that the Marquee Tee Time pairings have to work all the time, but I mean, it kind of has leading up until today or this tournament. That was the first time it didn't. Yeah, unfortunate. And it's hard to also, you know, put too much analysis into the Marquee Tee Time pairings not doing well when there were huge weather splits that didn't, you know, I don't know. I'll have to review it. I'll have to revisit it, try to figure it out. It does bother me. I know golf is almost impossible to forecast, but either way, it's one of those things that doesn't sit well with me. So yeah, Marquee Tee Time pairings, not very good. SweetSpot Score, not very good. The next thing to look at is the anchor buckets. Now, with the bucket system, basically, again, if you recall, let's see, we have everything. Gotta include. If it was above 0.9 or if it was above 90 for either of these two, I highlighted them green. That's basically telling you want at least one of them. So what we're going to do is go throughout all of this and try to figure out which ones did well. I'm just going to go by the green color, try to figure, you know, see if it did well. Now, if it is this 0.95, this isn't 1. So it's not telling us we can expect 1 no matter what. It's like it's close to 1. It might be 1. So just remember that. And again, we're only looking at the top 10. That's all I ever do when I'm looking at with the bucket system. It's analyzing the top 10. So let's go ahead. Let's remove all these guys that aren't within the top 10. So how I do this, look at last year threes. This tells me, again, I moved the decimal place over 2 spots. So it's 1.3. We want somewhere between 1 to 2 golfers from this bucket to finish inside the top 10. And if it does, then I'll highlight it green. If not, then it goes red. So with that being said, last year threes, we've got 1, we've got 2. We got 2. Look at that. Right away, bucket system hits. You know, I mean, to me, it's not that uncommon. Like it just happens this way whenever I have a conditional on here. All right, we got to mark something else. Let's I don't want to mark. Well, I guess I can mark over here. So we've had a minimum of 2 of these always, or the entire time. So yeah, we'll hit a green with that one. Last year fours, not quite 1. We'll see if it actually hit last year fours. We have 1. We have 2. We have 2. That ended up hitting. I'm going to mark this one green. Last year ones, we're looking somewhere between 1.9 to 3.2. So it's like 1 to 3, 1 to 4. It could be. Let's see if last year ones were in there. We have 1. We have 2. So we have 2. I should have been able to put the optimal lineup on here. Let's see here. I'm going to do it really quick because that is important to this whole process. I would do this a different way. I would sort it all and stuff like that, but I think it's just best to keep the screen moving. Again, this will help us figure out who is in the optimal lineup. And who is not. There you go. We have all 6 guys that are in the optimal lineup. So, last year ones. First of all, last year threes, we had 2. Last year fours, we had 2. We have 0 last year ones. Okay. So, this one does not hit. But we hit our projections. This is, I'm not going to do the I'm not going to do the conditionals on here anymore. So this obviously didn't hit. Here, I'm going to do it this way. We'll mark these green. I'm sorry for confusing this. This means the bucket, the projections worked. Like the projections and max ownership, this worked. This just means the optimal lineup. Did it hit? Did it not? Obviously, that's you understand. Last year twos. We are looking anywhere between 1 to 3 last year twos, and we had 2. We had 3. Sorry, we have 3. So that worked out as well. So just for last year buckets, they all hit. Going into last week buckets, we have 2, or last week bucket 2. That's that 1 to 20 range. So those that top 20 last week, we want at least, it looks like 1. I mean, it could be anywhere between 0 to 2, and you see that also over here. Sorry, I got last year 1. Did we have for last year 2s? Was that what? Yes. So Mark Leishman, correct. Anywhere between, so last week 2s, we want anywhere between 0 to 2. See if that hits. Last week 2s, we have 1, 2. Perfect. That ended up hitting. Last week 4s, 20 to 40. That 20 to 40 range from last week. We have 1, we have 2, and we were looking somewhere between 0 to 1, but optimal lineup 1 to 2. So we can make this green. Last week 3s, missing the cut last week. We wanted somewhere between 1 to 2. That's your last week 3s. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3. So that hits. Last week 1s did not play, as we want somewhere between 3 to 6. We have 1 that was in the optimal lineup, and just 2, so that one didn't hit. One did not. You're off by 1, but the optimal lineups did hit. Course history 4s, 1 to 20. That 1 to 20 average finishing position, we want somewhere between 0 and 1. See if that one hit. 1, 2, that's it. Perfect. So I mean, like, as you can tell, the bucket system's telling you basically don't play too many golfers out of this bucket, and also at least play 1, or at least consider playing 1. We had 6 golfers in that bucket this week. So that's probably the easiest bucket to choose golfers from. And again, it's Sung JM, it's Matthew Wolf. So high quality golfers, pretty easy to pick golfers from. Course history 6s, we wanted somewhere between 0 to 2. And optimal lineup 0 to 1. So course history 6s is that 20 to 40 range. We have 1, 2, that's it. So that one hit as well. Was that optimal lineup at all? Shank and Hadwin. So we actually had 2. Course history 2s, 40 to 60. We want at least 1 up to 3. Course history 2s. 1. So we got our 1. And it's not in the optimal lineup. So again, that's why I round down with this number, round up with this number usually, just give myself a decent range. So again, both of these hit. Perfect. Course history 1, 60 to 80 range. We want somewhere between 1 to 2. Course history 1s, we've got 2. So again, like, it's not, all of my numbers are almost exactly where you need them. It's just, to me, it's the wonder. Like, I absolutely love doing the bucket system. Course history 5s, 0 to 1. We have 0 course history 5s. So again, that hits. Like, just to throw that out there. Let me, no, I mean, 0 was in the range, so it's fine. And again, this didn't even get to 1. So it wasn't likely that it was going to, but it fell in that 0 to 1 range. Course history 3s did not play, as we're looking at 0 to 2. I know there are 3, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark that. I don't know about optimal lineup. Yeah, Mark Leishman. So far, we've had 1 bucket that did not hit. Remember, there was 1 golfer from that bucket last week 1s. 1, 2. I'm sorry, 2. There were 2 golfers in that bucket. But we were expecting 3. Still fell in that optimal lineup range. That was good. Last year, 1s. I can't remember why we marked it. Oh yeah, there was nobody in the optimal lineup. But we did have 2 last year 1s, right? 1, 2. Yep. And then our last bucket really to talk about, and I'll go over the other ones kind of briefly, but recent form 3s. Or the recent form buckets, I should say. So we're looking at somewhere between 0 to 1 recent form 3s. We got 1. That's it. Sung JM. So that one hits. And also the optimal lineup hits. Recent form 2 is 20 to 40. We're looking at 2 to 4. 2 to 4. Optimal lineup, we're looking at 2 to 3. So recent form 2s. We got 1. Leishman, he was in the optimal. And that's the only optimal. Aaron Wise was in there though. So we hit our 2 inside the top 10. So we'll mark this green. But we're going to actually mark this one red because it did not get to 2 as the minimum for optimal lineups. Recent form 1s, we're looking at, you know, somewhere between 1 to 3, maybe 1 to 4. Same thing in the optimal lineup. We have 2, they're both in the optimal lineup, and then there's a third one down here that is not. So do we hit? Yeah, we hit that one, we hit this one. All is good. Recent form 4s, that's 60 to 80 range. We're looking at somewhere between 0 to 2. Same thing in the optimal lineup. So recent form 4. You've got 2. 1 was in the optimal lineup, so that one can be marked green. It was already going to be, even if it was 0. So again, the bucket system, like spot on. Last week 1s, that was the only bucket that really didn't perform as well as we wanted to with our projections. Optimal lineups, I mean, it's hard to see with it on the screen right now, but again, the green means it fell within that range of the optimal lineup, even if it's 0, so it works out. When it comes to salaries, like told you needed a 10K golfer, you wanted to play 10K golfer because it's always been the optimal lineup. It's always shown up inside the top 10. No 10K golfer showed up inside this top 10. But if you're doing realistic lineups, remember Sam Burns is the golfer we wanted. So he did finish 14th, scored 100 points. Obviously, it's not the absolute optimal lineup, but there's no way you're building a lineup 45,100 and hitting the actual optimal lineup. We're not trying to leave a lot of money on the table. Sam Burns helps us get to that 49,000 threshold and above. So he technically is in that optimal lineup, and you did need a top, or you needed a 10K golfer, 10K and above. So to me, this one hits. Once again, it also hits with the optimal lineup. Like realistic optimal works for me. 9K, you're looking somewhere between 0 to 1. Obviously, we have Sungjae Im as that guy. Double checking. Yeah, 9,200. And then you have Matthew Wolf, 82. And when it comes to that 8K range, we're looking at 1 to 2, and we have 1. Then everything falls in the other ranges. So 7K, how many 7K do we have? 1, 2, just 2. And the rest are 6K. Okay. Either way, just the 2 that hits our 7K projections. And I think 1 was in there, right? Leishman. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's just, it all works out. And then when it comes to the strokes gain buckets, remember I do it a little bit differently. I'm looking at off the tee stats and putting stats. I don't care about approach. I don't really care about around the green. In reality, I do care about approach because you're obviously going to have your well-rounded golfers that are going to do well. But until I create that strokes gain video, you guys probably won't see it. But not all strokes, like positive strokes gain approach, leads to good scoring, because some of those strokes gain approach comes from bad drives. So if you have negative off the tee and a positive approach, it doesn't really it doesn't amount to a lot. Yeah, you can still do well, but either way, I'll show you how it ends up being. So strokes gain 1, that's all stats being positive. If we end up looking at 2020 and I scroll over to the strokes gained stats, again, we're looking at season-long stats from last year for the season of 2021. When we look, I mean, if you look at all the approach stats, so you needed Rory Sabatini and you needed Adam Hadwin. They all have they both had negative approach stats. The other 4 golfers that you did want, they all had positive approach stats. But to me, it's really looking at off the tee and then putting. So all of your optimal lineup golfers had positive putting. I mean, if you look at Matthew Wolff, he was negative off the tee, but positive approach. That means he's hitting balls offline. He obviously hits the ball really far. And gets himself into trouble. He gets out of that trouble. That's why he's gaining strokes on approach. But if these were flip-flopped, there's no reason to worry about that because he's a skilled golfer. He hits the ball really far. If he's gaining the, strokes on or off the tee, he's putting himself in good positions to get it close. And if he hits it the same distance, I'll get into it. It's a different video at a different time. I'm not going to continue going through this. But either way, again, off the tee to me really matters. So we have we only have 2 golfers with positive off the tee in the optimal lineup. And you have 1 negative guy in the optimal lineup, 2 negative guys in the optimal lineup, and that's it for approach. But the rest of those are positive. So very interesting, honestly. Very, very interesting. And this kind of goes to show you don't know who to choose when it comes to building your lineups around. Let's look really quickly. Let's see this. So Sungjae, Wolff, Leishman, Schenk, Hadwin, Burns. So go here, here, here. These guys, we want that green color and also Hadwin. But we would want Burns to go with these 5 golfers, right? Correct. Okay. So we don't have Burns there. Actually, why don't I just open it up so we can see Burns? We'll actually get rid of 11. He's 14th place. Sam Burns right down here. Doesn't help you guys in seeing that. Sam Burns was positive off the tee, positive approach, negative around the green, positive putting. That's a strokes gained 2 bucket. So that would be in the optimal lineup. Either way, I'm sorry. I went on a tangent, as I tend to do in general, but mostly with strokes gained stats. So strokes gained 1, we wanted 0 to 1, and this is inside the top 10. So if we look at strokes gained 1, you can look at this column here. That's actually what these colors are based off of. So you can see Louis is strokes gained 1, and it's that dark green. So we have 0. So that ended up hitting. So again, if you had visited me during the strategy video or even the preview video, I could have told you this. Strokes gained 1. I mean, there were 9 golfers in that bucket. We're only projecting 0 to 2. So there's a chance 0 could happen, and 0 did happen. Most people, when they hear like, oh, or when they do their own research, they want to have good strokes gained golfers. They want to have those that are positive in most stats. This is showing you don't need that when building your lineups. Strokes gained 2, we're looking at 1 to 3. I'd say 1 to 4, but 1 to 3. And you can see 1, 2, 3. Griffin is not in the optimal lineup, but it still counts 3 towards the top 10, and we actually had 2 that were in the optimal lineup. So strokes gained 2, meaning positive off the tee, positive putting, and then a negative stat somewhere in between. So this one hits, that one hits. Now, for those golfers, which of those stats could it have been? Or which of those stats was it? So we're looking at Lanto. Lanto had negative around the green, as did Schenk, as did Sungjae. They all had positive approach, they all had positive off the tee, and they all had positive putting. So they all fall under those categories. Looking at the next bucket, positive off the tee, negative putting. So this is your team no putt, as it's called. I mean, it could have been 0. You see, this isn't a full 100. Could have been 0, but we're looking at somewhere between 0 to 2. Strokes gained 3. Again, it's all color coded. So Aaron Wise, he's your only one inside the top 10 that falls in that bucket, that strokes gained 3 bucket. So with that being said, that hits here but it does not hit with the optimal lineup. So optimal lineup, this will go down to 0 next time we look at it. Looking at strokes gained 4 buckets, we want somewhere between 1 to 2 and somewhere between 0 to 1 when it comes to optimal lineups. So strokes gained 4 is negative off the tee, positive putting. As we look, we have a bunch of 4s. And you have 1 in the optimal, 2 in the optimal, 3 in the optimal, 4 golfers in the optimal that are strokes gained 4. Negative off the tee, positive putting. So I can highlight these on the screen. You can see they're all negative off the tee, all positive on the putting front. Hadwin's negative approach, Sabatini's negative approach. The rest of them are positive. So how do you figure that one out? You know, and of those golfers that do fall into those buckets, how do you know it's Rory Sabatini? How do you know it's Adam Hadwin? You don't. You play your percentages. So yeah, very interesting there. So what I would say, yeah, sure, it hits. We want somewhere between 1 to 2. We actually had 3 inside the top 10. I would have only played 2, and if you did, you guessed the 2 correct golfers in the optimal lineup, you would have won. It would have been great. Now this, I'm just going to mark as green, but I'm going to mark this as red. And I should have done that to one of the other buckets just to show. No, never mind. It went over this 0 to 1. So I wanted to reflect that, but whatever. Strokes gained 6. Korn Ferry graduates, basically. Golfers who have no strokes gained stats from the year 2021. If we look, Hayden Buckley, Harry Hall, you got your 2 golfers right there. Again, we were projecting 0 to 2. That one hits. Actually, neither one of them was in the optimal lineup, so hit 0. So when we look at this, obviously you saw me go throughout all this. Only 1 bucket, 1. Let me repeat that. 1 bucket did not hit its projection out of 29. 28 out of 29. And again, these projections are like choose 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 0 to 2, 0 to 1, somewhere in there. Gives you clear directions as to how to build your lineups. That's why it's so valuable to me, because I can go, and I know you guys don't have these spreadsheets. I'll offer it next week. I'll try to offer it every week, but I get to go and look at these numbers. Actually, the optimizer would be much better. You get to put in your rules, say you only want 2 strokes gained 2 golfers for the optimizer to pick, or that's all you want. You can come to a sheet like this, look at your best strokes gained 2 golfers, and see them on the list. I mean, how many do we have? 24 of them, and you got to pick the right ones. I mean, over half of them did, or half of them made the cut. A bunch of them missed the cut. Abram Answer being one of the more notable ones. Jason Kokrak being another one. Could have got you on Sung JM. Could have just really reinforced your feelings on Sung JM, or even Lanto Griffin. We talked about him during the a bunch of the videos. But yeah, he's one that we easily could have picked. Yeah, outside of that, I mean, the bucket system, 28 out of 29, do the math. That's 90 some percent, 90, high 90s. And when it comes to optimal lineups, we didn't hit on 3 of them. Three buckets didn't hit with the optimal lineups, but we obviously with the zeros, we still count those as forecasts, and we figured those ones out as well. So the bucket system, boom, really successful this week. And I'll try to do a better job explaining that going forward. But yeah, the projections give you your min-max, what you should choose when building your lineups. Let's see, outside of that, I don't think I have anything else to talk about. A reminder, the giveaways always, not hard. We need to get to 250 subscribers. You just saw it on the screen. That's the goal, and that'll be the goal next week. Try to get to 250. So if you're not currently subscribed to the channel and you're listening to this right now, first of all, thank you for listening all the way up to this point. But if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and then participate in the comment section, all that good stuff. That'll get you entries into the giveaway. It's easy $10, free $10. And the more, I mean, what I want this to do, so my goals, I'll reevaluate, what we can do. I assume the more subs that we end up getting, the more it'll be showcased. you know, on YouTube and stuff like that. So more people will be watching and more subscribers will happen. I think it'll be easier to get to some of those goals, but I might have to dial back. Maybe once we hit this sub goal, we'll try to get to 275 and just do 25 increments. Maybe that'll help. Certainly don't want to make it super easy, but I also want to reward you guys for participating and for subscribing. So, one thing that I want to note. Let me throw something on the screen really quick. It's going to be the thumbnail. Do you see by Sung Jae's M? It says message here. Your message here is what it ends up saying. That's for you guys. And I forget to bring that up during the these review videos. The logo is gonna go through again. Let me take that off. You get to participate. Tell me what you want a message in this video, in the review video, and I'll also add this to your entries for the giveaway. In the review video, tell me what message would you like me to put on next week's thumbnails, because I create my thumbnails, so that's supposed to be fun for you guys. Another interaction we can do. Put a message. I don't care what it is. Like Sung Jae is the best. We'll keep it, you know, PG-13 rated. I'm not going to put any swear words on there. But give me a funny message. You know, put it in the comment section, and I will put it on next week's thumbnail. It'll be throughout all 3 videos. It might be hidden behind golfers, but you're going to see your text. You're going to see it during the preview video. I always put the golfers over to the side so you can see the message itself. So again, you want to participate in that funny goofiness, just give me a funny message, something that I enjoy. Basically the winner is going to be put on there. Yeah. And again, with the giveaway, sorry, what was your name? Matthew Martin. Please reach out to me. Obviously you're the winner this week for the Prize Picks giveaway. You get $20 free just for signing up using the promo code SweetSpot. Reach out to me. Let me know how you'd like me to send that money to you. So I think that's it. That's all that I wanted to cover. I don't think there's really anything more to talk about. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see you in the preview for the CJ Cup Monday night. All right, bye.